Welcome to the Gen X Pole Arts podcast, Fit, Fierce, and Fearless. I am Zen, also known as Nancy Adzentovich, the founder of Gen X Pole Arts. I am happy to be launching this podcast where we are going to be celebrating the strength, resilience, and potential of women over 40 in the vibrant world of pole dance. I'm excited to embark on this empowering journey with you guys. And each week, we will connect with inspiring women who are redefining what it means to thrive in their 40s and beyond. From incredible stories of personal transformation to tips on building strength and confidence, we'll explore the boundless possibilities that pole dancing offers for self-expression and empowerment. Whether you're a seasoned dancer or just curious about the journey, there's a place for you here. So grab a cup of coffee, a sparkling water, whatever turns you on, and get comfortable. Let's celebrate the incredible power of women who are embracing their passions and pushing boundaries at every age. All right, now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to Fit, Fierce, and Fearless, episode 41. I am Zen. You guys know me, or you might know me as Nancy. And I'm excited. I told you last week in my very emotional short solo episode that I was going to have a really cool guest this week. And I do, because I don't lie. Her name is Jacqueline, and here she is. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to tell them how I came to know you, which is so weird. And it's kind of like a full circle moment. So I think it's cool. I first found Jacq on Instagram years ago. I don't know, maybe it was during the pandemic even, when I was spending a lot of time online, and you were posting a lot about going through a divorce and doing comedy and writing and posting your art. And yeah, the mug right there. That's what I was getting. Yes, that's the energy I was getting from Instagram.
Yeah,
Like you were using language like pussy and you were writing about sex and sex workers. And I was like, this woman is a badass. And you were hot. You were like dressed. I was like, I need to follow her and I want to know her. But of course, you were just like, I don't know, Instagram celeb to me. And then fast forward to a few months ago, and I was at Christina Kalf's Armando show. And you guys who listen to the podcast, you know Christina. She was on here with her ghost story episode over the summer. You could go back and listen. And you were there, and you're sitting with my friend Brian, or our friend Brian, who also has been on the podcast like pretty recently, maybe 10 episodes ago or 8 episodes ago, with Brian. And Brian was like, oh, I want to introduce you to my friend Jacqueline. And I was like, wait, are you Jacq the stripper? It took me a minute.
I am.
And I was like, my mind is blown right now. Oh my God, I've been such a fangirl of yours for like years. And now you're on my podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah.
I think it's so cool.
I am Jacq the stripper forever. I tried to kill her. She just won't die. So she is back. She's back with a vengeance. She's back and she's doing something different. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself more properly than my gushy fangirl like.
I love the gushy fangirl. And I'm really grateful for my gushy fangirls because that's how we do it as artists. We have fans. And it wouldn't really be possible without fans. So thank you. And I will say that I will introduce myself as Jacqueline Francis. And I also go by Jacq Francis. I also go by Brian. I have a drag character named Brian. I go by Jacq the stripper. I have so many different characters. I'm constantly reinventing myself. And it's tricky from a marketing perspective, like a brand identity. But who cares? Who cares? I think that I'm here to give you permission to change and reinvent yourself whenever you want, because
Yes.
I change all of the time. I'm constantly changing. I can barely keep track of my identity. And I think like fixed identity is the death of us, like just allow
Mm.
yourself to change. Change is constant. It's the only constant. So who am I today in this moment on November 11th? I'm actually being reborn this evening as Jacq the Saint Ripper, a new character
Okay.
that
I
is
want to hear
emerging
about
that
that.
I'm performing tonight. Well, I don't even know what to expect, um, but we'll see. We'll see, because I actually, yeah, we'll see what happens tonight. I don't really know what's going to happen. I have a couple of ideas, but I'm very improvisational with my work and everything. So yeah, I was a stripper for 10 years, and that really put me on the map. And that's how a lot of you know me. I'm a painter and an illustrator, so I do a lot of art. And like this painting behind me, if you're
Hmm.
watching, you can see this is called Life is a Game That Ends When You Die. It's a game of snakes and ladders, which is a popular childhood game in Canada where I grew up. I think here everyone calls it shoots and ladders.
It's Shoots and
But
Ladders. Yeah.
yeah, in Canada, it's snakes and ladders. And so I also am a comedian and a filmmaker and a dancer. And I just moved to Los Angeles. So I'm trying to figure out how all of that ties into Los Angeles. I know all of it does. I just don't know how it happens yet.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be
Well,
here.
we're happy. I'm happy you're here. And I think so when I found you, I needed somebody to tell me it was okay to reinvent myself because in 2018, my husband passed away. And then um my and then I started dating in like 2020. Like it took a year after he passed away
Yeah.
for me to even realize like, oh, I could date people? Like how does that even work? Because I was married for 20 years. There were no apps, right? So I had to like
Yeah.
learn about apps and catfishing. Like I was so naive and stupid, but I was also really excited about it. And I was like not sure what was okay and not okay for me to do at that time. Like I needed to get to the point where where I had autonomy over myself as a woman and was like, oh, I could do whatever the fuck I want to do. I am a grown woman. I am single. Yes, I'm a mom. So, I need to put my children first. But other than that, I was like, hmm, I can be whoever I want to be now. I don't have to play that role of
Whoever.
wife and all that stuff. And so I think I found you just at that time when I was at that point in my own self discovery and reinvention, that to see somebody like you doing that, I was like, okay, I see what's possible.
Anything's possible. You can do anything. Every time you get dressed up, you're putting on a costume.
Mm,
So, like, what do you want that costume to be for the day? It can be anything. Actually, something that I've really been enjoying doing since Halloween just ended is I continue to paint my face.
I love it.
I continue to put on the clown white because honestly, I go out into the world and I feel more like myself when I'm in costume. I feel more present.
Mm,
I feel more mischievous. I feel more engaged with my immediate environment because I know I look a little bit, excuse me, a little bit different. And I also just feel more confident looking other people in the eye. If that sounds, I don't know if that sounds, well, a lot of people are struggling to make eye contact this day,
oh yeah.
especially young people. It's like we've forgotten how to do it. And being a professional socializer as a stripper, where you professionally walk up to people all day and you interact with them, you become a bit of a pro. But we do it with a character. We all do it
Mm,
in a certain character. And I think there's always this sort of like, but who are you really? It's like, well, who are you really?
yeah.
Like I chose this. Every item of my clothing and all the way down to my name is something that I chose for myself. So character development, I think we need to focus more on that as a way to like play and interact with the world. It's
Hmm.
fun.
Yes.
I love
I
playing make believe.
Me too. Which is
It's called
why I
make
love
believe. Like you make it believe, like it becomes true. It's who do you want to be in the world? Dress for the
yeah,
job you want.
right. And even
Mhm.
people who would never say that that's what they're doing, that is what they're doing. That is just what people do every day. They're playing a role. They're playing the
Mhm.
role of, an executive. They're playing a role of a teacher. They're playing a role of a parent. Like
Mm-hmm.
We're so multifaceted and multi-layered as humans, but in society we're not encouraged to explore that. We're just kind of like told to find one of these boxes we want to fit in, and then that's where you kind of stay. And if you have like an inkling or an urge to try something else, people discourage you most of the time. Not here, not in my world that I've created finally.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a big fear around what will people say, what will people think.
Yes.
And I get that. And I think I get that, and I just see it a little bit differently because the thing that's running in my head is, what will people say? What will people think? Like, I get excited about the judgment and the conversation, because if you're judging me and you're criticizing me and you're talking about me, that's that's called good press, you know? And
Right.
like, that's important. And if you're not being talked about, are you even relevant as an artist? And that's another thing that I grapple with, is like relevancy. Like, am I, like, especially as like an aging woman in the entertainment industry, I'm like, am I still relevant? And I really grappled with this when I was leaving stripping, because I felt like I was in this hurry, this rush to achieve all of my dreams as soon as humanly possible, because people would no longer care as I got older.
Yeah.
And I remember that sense of urgency, and it was not serving me. But then I remember, I look at the little, like your Instagram analytics, right? And
Yeah.
your insights, and it shows you a little sphere of who's following you. And it's like 75% women,
Yeah.
right? And I look at all of the orders, people who buy tickets to my shows, or people who buy my art class, and people who buy merch from me or original artwork. And all of these people, they're like, I would say 95% of the people who pay me are women.
Mm.
And like, all of these women, just like everybody on this planet who has the privilege of being human, we're aging.
Yeah.
So my audience is aging with me, and I really needed to remember that, is that like, my struggles are your struggles, and my struggles now at 38 are different than my struggles at 27 when I got started, like, with this character and this brand. But we're all sort of aging together if we're lucky.
Yeah.
And I had to change my thinking around that. And who knows what's going to happen with it, but I just keep getting hotter. So
Yeah,
the
you
stories only
do,
getting better. Yeah.
for sure. No, it's true. I think aging is such a, there's no way to prepare yourself for it. Because even if you don't feel it, society starts to think about you a little bit differently. But I think that this generation, or where we are now at this point in time, aging's not seen in the same way as it was like 20 or 30 years ago. Like our parents'
Yeah.
generation, when they were in
Mhm.
their 40s or 50s, they were kind of old.
Yeah.
Like we saw them as old, but I don't think my kids think of me as old. I hope not. And like, if you look at social media, I think there's plenty of artists, celebrities, I hate to say influencers, but influencers who are not in their 20s, and they're doing things that people react to. They're making people think, which is, what an artist's job is. Like you were saying, to be provocative, provoke a response from
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of embrace the word influencer, but the influencer as we know it is kind of like dead. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, like, influential. What's wrong with being influential?
Nothing.
It's
Yeah.
called having power.
Yeah.
And the power of influence is the power of persuasion. It's
Yeah.
something that, like, however you harnessed it, you got to have something going on there. And it's just judgment. It's just insecurity. And like, to your point back earlier about like trying to fit in a box. I mean, we literally do put ourselves into boxes to be commodified, to
Mm.
put on these platforms. And I think it needs to change. It all needs to change, but it's getting kind of intense right now. But like, just make a new box. There's unlimited boxes. Just confuse the hell out of people. Be
Yeah.
whoever you want.
Yes.
Consistently. Like, it's funny. Like, I don't. I've been reluctant to identify as ADHD for a long time, because I was like, what is that going to accomplish
Mm.
by identifying as something that's kind of like this is probably gonna get me in trouble, but like I just feel like everyone identifies as ADHD, and
Yeah.
it's just I think it's just a byproduct of living on our screens and
Yeah.
having like our attention spans just burn and fizzle out to be these tiny little short fuses, and like what is like can we not train ourselves out of that, which is I guess what I'm working on. But the ADHD brain in me has so like my brain is extremely active and I have so many different ideas and so many different interests, and like like I'm a painter, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a skier, I'm a dancer, I kind of identify as Barbie because Barbie can do everything, anything she wants, and she's just like, look at me, watch, like I'm like natural Barbie.
I love
Because I'm
it.
also like, I try not to um, talk too much about being natural because I don't want to like take away from anybody's choices of whatever the fuck they're doing. But I'm really trying not to intervene with how I was made, and I want it to like wrinkle up like the raisin that it needs to. Um, in its own way. I don't know where I'm going with this. See, my ADHD brain takes me all over the place. But it's also really cool to have this neurodivergence because my creativity has so many different outlets.
Yes.
And I can take these characters however far I want to. I can do whatever I want. Like I have this drag character that I've been living in for years. I love him. He's amazing. He's helped me reconcile my misandry, right? And then I have like Jacq the Saint Ripper is a new character that's emerging, who's the youth pastor to your inner child. Like who's she gonna be? I
Ah,
don't know. Yeah, so I'm just constantly trying new things, and I think where I trip up is like, oh, how do I monetize it? Like I was really good at, and I've always been good at monetizing things, but then it's like, well, if you monetize everything, you're not monetizing anything, and that's
mm,
where I'm at now. I'm like, well, how do I actually support myself? And to be totally candid with the audience, this is what I'm figuring out. I also just moved to Los Angeles, so like when you move, you're starting yourself back at one. So I don't really know
yeah.
like what gifts are going to come forth based on my neurodivergence, my litany of talents, my devotion to reinvention. Because yes, it's hard for people to um, make sense of somebody who's so multifaceted, but at the same time, it gives people permission to explore all of their own different sides.
Yes. Yeah. You're
I
making
think that's
space
more
for other
important.
people. Hmm.
Yeah, and I just have to trust and believe that something will work out. Something will
Yeah.
work out, even though because like I can't kill off all of my characters. Do you know how many years I've spent trying to kill Jacq the Stripper? Like Jacq the Stripper died in 2020. Okay, it's the end of 2025. Jacq the Stripper, I killed her longer than she was alive at this point. I think she was alive for 7 or 8 years, right? I tried to kill her. I painted her crucified. I was like, I'm not even a stripper anymore. Like, what is like, how can I identify as Jacq the Stripper if I'm not a stripper anymore? But hey, guys, I might be a stripper again. I'm trying to get, I actually book me. I would love to be a stripper again. I just don't want anyone to touch me. So you
Yeah.
can look, but don't touch me.
Yeah.
Um, those are my boundaries now and my 38 years. I know what I want, I know what I don't want, and I do want
Mhm.
you to look at me. I do want to entertain you. I just don't want you to touch me unless you have like I'm $1 million. Like you can touch me for $1 million.
All right.
I have a price, but like I just don't want to be touched. But um, Jacq the Stripper wouldn't die. So these characters that emerge out of me, they cannot help but exist.
Yeah.
And they are so iconic to so many people. And the other thing that I've been exploring, and I actually just posted about, I just made some art about this today. I'll show you. This is like what I do.
Yeah.
This
Let's
is my
see.
collage. I do a lot of illustration with watercolor, but sometimes I just hang out on my iPad. See, this is one of my paintings. If
Ooh.
you're listening, I changed. See, I love this one. It's about
Oh,
changing
it just turned
because I
off.
change all the time, and you
I
can
saw
make
it
it.
though.
Yeah, you can buy it as a print. You can buy it as a hoodie. But I found all of these. My ancestors are from Greece, and I did an ancestry tour of Greece, and I wrote this piece and used the ancient because what I love about my Greek ancestors and when I went there, I was like, oh my god! I was like, Greece is the birthplace of modern philosophy and drama.
Yes,
Like, of
drama.
course I'm Greek. You know what I mean? Like and like all they do is just smoke cigarettes and stare at the sea and eat figs and olives. And like I don't smoke cigarettes, but I've been known to really enjoy a joint. But like and I love like a bikini is my favorite outfit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I really excelled at stripping was because I just feel very comfortable in a certain level of undress, like with my skin out, touching the air and not being cold, like that just feels really good for me. And not for
Yeah.
everybody. Some people like to be covered. But anyway, I wrote a scarlet letter is forever. No matter how many times she reinvents herself, the stigma remains. And so she rises yet again. Because try as she might, a sex symbol never dies. Come and obsess over my body so you can feel more alive in yours.
Mm.
Will you throw roses or slurs?
Mm.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not Jacq the stripper anymore, but then I realized like Sophia Loren is Sophia Loren forever. Like she's always
Yes.
going to be a sex symbol. You make one sexy movie
Yes.
when you're young and you're a sex symbol forever. And I think I just needed to define myself against being a sex symbol just for my own like sanity. I was like, well, who am I separate from this?
Yeah.
But the stigma remains. Even I thought that because I was no longer actively stripping that the identity didn't stick to me in the same way. But the way I'm received by the public, anybody who finds out about me, which is very easy, and it's also I bring it up freely because
Mm.
it's so part of the fabric of my character as a person who lives, right, like 10 years of my
Yes.
life, and I'm 38, that's like a significant part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
was formed by that experience and that work. And it's so scintillating to people are obsessed. They don't care that you don't do it anymore. They are
Yeah.
like it's like seeing Santa Claus to them. You know? They're like, oh my god, a real stripper. Like they've heard about them, but like, oh, in the wild, I can't
Yeah.
believe it. And they project all their stuff onto you. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well, as a woman of my age, so I'm older than you,
yeah.
obviously, and I never worked as a stripper, but it
Mhm.
always was so intriguing to me. And I always, if I went to a club, I would try to talk to the girls in the bathroom and just find out. I just
Always.
was amazed at to me, it just seemed like a brave choice, even though I know sometimes it's not always a choice. And at a certain point in life, some women do it because they don't have options. And I know it's not
Yeah.
like always so romantic, but it was always so intriguing to me. And I wanted to know more about these women, how they did it, why they did it. And I wanted to be doing it too. I was like, I just want
Yeah.
to feel that. I want to feel like what you were describing, right?
Hmm.
To be able to elicit that desire in somebody else just from being present and in front of them and moving and your body. And
Hmm.
it seems like yeah, there is a power dynamic there for sure.
Yeah.
I know it's not always, again, like I'm not like naive about the realities of it, but um I know it's not always great, but it was always intriguing to me. And so you are interested. It is so interesting to talk to somebody who, had such success and did it for such a long period of time. Like, I want to know more. I feel like that ship sailed for me and I'll never get to experience it, the good or the bad of it. And I feel like it's such a
Well,
uniquely
don't you
female.
know? I okay. So I thought. Sorry to cut you. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. I
I
just
don't.
think,
I
well,
want
I'll just
to.
finish. I think it's such a unique
Yeah.
experience as a woman because it's something that women do and hold that power that, sure, men had Chippendales or whatever, which was kind of corny, which is not the same, I don't think.
But I
And
love the
now
chip.
there's more male, like we know,
Yeah.
it's different now and it's different in Los Angeles anyway, in Hollywood. But for the most part, it's one of the only things that, one of the only jobs that was strictly for women.
Yeah. It's like the only industry where women get paid more than men.
Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
thought
And
that
it
was,
makes it hard to do any other job afterwards
mm,
because you're like, I don't want to be treated like this. Like there's ways where you have so much sovereignty when you're doing, well, there's a lot of ways where you don't have sovereignty, but there's a lot of ways where you do. Like I feel like my sovereignty is the most important thing that I have. And when you're a stripper, I was 23 years old. I graduated from university. I got a regular job and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot sit at a desk all day. Like
Yeah.
my spirit dies. Like I just can't, my body just can't do it. I was like, no. Like I'm an artist. I need to be moving, doing things, active, creative,
Yeah.
around people, leading things. So, um, so it just didn't work for me. And with stripping, you just show up, you get naked for somebody, you audition, and then you're hired. And you can kind of show up whenever you want. And sure, the rules are different places. And I imagine back in my day when I got started, it was a little bit more lax. Like maybe you need to be on a schedule now. But I just generally showed up whenever the fuck I wanted to make my money and then leave. And it was amazing. And like you, I felt like, oh, that ship has sailed. I don't do that anymore. But for the same reason that I started stripping in 2010, which was that I was broke and I needed money, I am coming up against a similar situation right now in my life. I'm new in a city that's very expensive. And while I love teaching my painting classes, and they're rad and I would love you to sign up for one, it has not proven sufficient for me to support myself. And it's been 15 years since I started stripping. It was May of 2010. So just over 15 years ago. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm looking at the astrology. I was like, is there some sort of similar event going on right now? Because I am looking at a very similar circumstance where I'm like, okay, I need to make a choice of like to do something to support myself. And I'm like, is it getting back on stage? And like, what does that look like in Los Angeles? What does that look like for me and my personal boundaries and what feels good? And like, how am I going to get paid? And the answer remains. But I just want to be candid about like, to anybody who's listening, who's reinventing themselves, or if you had tremendous, like I kind of like, I was not a child star, but I was pretty young. It was 27, 28, 29 when Jacq the Stripper really blew up,
Okay.
30. And that's a really exciting time. And that exploded, right? Jacq the Stripper was this huge hit, still is. But then the last 5 years, I have been going down the other side of that mountain, spending all of my money, trying stuff, going to different schools, traveling the world, doing healing, right? And like that money is just flying away. And I was a really good stripper at making money. I want to clarify, I was never the top earner, but I was always good at managing my money. But now I'm at the bottom of that wave and I'm about to go back up, but I don't really know what going back up looks like. And I'm in a circumstance where I feel like I have to make a bit of a dramatic choice so that I can live the life that I want, because there's just a lot of jobs out there that I won't do.
Yeah.
So, and also can't get hired for. I haven't really I have a really like fancy degree from a fancy school, but like that doesn't really mean anything. Like I have a degree in Russian literature from McGill University, which is
Cool.
Canada's Harvard. Yeah, it's cool, right? But it's fucking useless. It's not useless. I'm a writer, right? If you read what I write, it's because I studied literature, but you just never know. Like I think a lot of the questions that people ask me about, like, how did you get into stripping? And it's like, bitch, I was broke.
Yeah.
I needed the money. And that is like desperation drives creativity. Those are just the facts. And that's how most of us get into it. Some of us are like, ooh, I've always wanted to do it. I always wanted to try it. And that is also my story. I also always wanted to do it. I always wanted to try it. But the social stigma of doing that kind of work was like, oh, I would never do that. Like a middle class girl doesn't become a stripper,
Right.
but like a middle class girl doesn't have like parents' money to fall on. I don't have. I have to take care of myself. So that's what drove me to make that choice. And it remains to be seen what kind of choices I'm going to make moving forward. But y'all will be hearing about it because I have to make a choice of how I want to be able to support myself.
Yeah. So
it's simple.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it worked once. So, it's kind of
Yeah, and I thought like, oh, I'm like, there's no way I'll go back to, and like somebody else, I met someone else here who's like, yeah, you wouldn't be surprised if you had like a second reemergence of your like of that character when you were living here. And I was like, no, no. Sure enough, I'm like, oh no, it's time. It's time. And I'm looking at my reflection right now, like doing this podcast, and I look at myself and I'm like, I am more beautiful than I've ever been.
You're gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I've matured into my beauty, and and my like the groundedness of my wisdom
Hmm.
and the experience that I do have in this industry. It will serve me. It will
Absolutely.
serve me absolutely, and my choice not to intervene with my natural beauty, and just because it's not in the budget. Do you know what I mean? If I
Right.
had a bunch of money, maybe I would be getting fillers and shit like that. But it's just not in the budget.
It's
And
such an LA thing. It's hard to resist it once you're here for a while.
yeah, and no, I
It
thought about
is.
that too. Like, I was here and I was looking at my boobs in the mirror and I was like, oh, maybe it's time to get my boobs done. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's starting.
Yeah.
But I just, and that's where I'm at today. It might change,
Right.
but I don't know what's going to happen. And I know
So,
your audience, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, so I know as you've been on this recent, I guess, discovery of what it is you want to do, you've got a painting course that you're doing and
Yes,
you have a book.
yes,
So do you want to talk about those a
yeah,
little bit? Okay.
yeah. So I've published 6 books in my
6 books.
time
Oh my goodness. And
so
I did want
far.
to pick your
Yes,
brain about that too. Self-publishing,
yes,
or like, how did you do it?
yes. Yeah, so I do. So I'm an illustrator and I'm an author.
Yeah.
And I teach painting classes on Sundays. And there's also they're all self-guided. Once they already stream, they're all self-guided because my art practice saves my life. Like I paint
Mhm.
every day, kind of like journaling. And that's what the classes are. It's like a journaling class, but with watercolor because I use art to get through the hard stuff. And I see
Yeah.
so much suffering around and so many people in agony with so many questions. And painting in itself is a very relaxing exercise.
Yeah.
So I've started this series called Paint Your Way, where we paint our way through a hard time. And there's different hard times. Like last week was celibacy, and this coming week is entrepreneurship. Then we have disordered eating, how to paint your way through rejection. They're not sexy topics, but they're topics that we all inevitably experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to have creative outlets to help us navigate these really hard times.
Yeah, and when you talk
So
about relevancy, like you were earlier, like these topics are relevant to so many people. And
they are,
they're
yeah,
not like they're not sexy, so they're not addressed often, like, unless you're looking at like all the pop psychology that's online right now, easily accessible on social media, which some of it is
yeah,
helpful and some of it is harmful because it's
hmm,
not sound advice. But so I think that's actually beautiful that you're doing that, and especially like my audience of women primarily over the age of 40, gone through lots
hmm,
of shit by the time you get to be older. You've been through like
hmm,
bad relationships, marriages,
hmm,
deaths, losses of people, kids, motherhood, kids grow up, whatever, lost jobs, changing careers. Your body starts changing when your hormones start changing, and it's like having something like what you're talking about to use art to help navigate some of those complicated feelings that come from all of that is so
yeah,
needed. It's so needed. And
yeah,
that's another reason why I talk about pole dance and movement and getting reacquainted with your body and embodied, because we are so in our heads and on our screens all the time that we forget what it's like, what it feels, not you and not I, but the general population
no,
have
me, I'm on my
lost.
screen all the time.
No, I know, but you're very in touch with your body. Like you are embodied
Yeah,
for sure. But I
yeah,
think that as especially women age, we tend to disembody ourselves because we also don't necessarily like what's happening to our body when we go
yeah,
through perimenopause. You aren't there yet, but perimenopause and
yeah,
menopause, and it's like
yeah,
you don't recognize your body anymore. It's like I don't even know how to be in this body. So
yeah.
I think art therapy, and my degree is in art history
No
and
way.
political
Okay,
science.
cool.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
love what you're doing. I love what you're
thank
doing.
you.
So can
Yeah.
people sign up just for like one Sunday, or is it a
Yes. Yes.
series? Okay.
No, it's one at a time. It's sign up, and anytime you want the 50% off code, you can use it anytime you want. The 50% off code is first time, one word, because I just want people to take the class. You know,
Yeah.
if you want the discount, if you need the discount, please use it. And if it's
I'll
not your
put the
first time,
link. Yeah,
yeah,
and I'll put the link in the show notes. So anybody listening, if you want to do Jack's art courses, art classes on Sundays, and use the
yeah, and
discount
you
code.
can
Go ahead.
yes, and you can also take the class anytime you want after it's been streaming. So if you missed the sex worker retirement class, you can take it at any time. It's there
Oh,
for
I
you.
see. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I really like teaching.
Hmm.
Teaching is fun. I want to do more teaching. So I don't know what that looks like in LA, but yeah. And
Lots
like
of
teaching how to like self-publishing, for example. I
yeah.
talk a lot about self-publishing because my first book just turned 10.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, thank you. The Beaver Show. And that was my memoir. That book took the longest to put together because your first book does take the longest. And, well, maybe not, but for me, that's my story. And when I first published it, I had these expectations that that book was going to just change my life and set me off for success, and it was going to be a bestseller and like turn
Uh-huh.
into a movie. You know what I mean? Like I had these grandiose ideas of what my first book was going to do. And the book is a huge success. It is. I mean, has great reviews. People love it. People have told me they've read it multiple times.
Okay,
And
cool.
people have told me that they've listened to it with family members and that they've had
Awesome.
really interesting conversations about it. Yeah, like it's awesome. But I published my first book and I self-published. I wasn't a New York Times bestseller and it doesn't matter though, right? It doesn't matter. But the
Hmm.
point is that I put it out there and then I published 5 more and I'm working on another one now. Like
Amazing.
it's just you just got to put your art out there. I'm a huge proponent of self-publishing because I'm free. I can do whatever I want. And sometimes that's overwhelming. Sometimes that just feels like I can do anything and everything, so I want to do everything and therefore I'm going to
Yeah.
do nothing. It's a bit of a situation. But there's nobody to approve of. And like sometimes you work really hard on this book, you get it in advance, and then you never get paid for the success of the book. And maybe the book is more successful. I've just heard horror stories where you don't get to pick your cover. You don't get
Yeah.
to pick your cover. And like, not to say that like self publishing is by any means better, but there are perks to just having the freedom to do whatever you want. And so many people self publish their own work. And, I'm curious what it would be like to work with a publishing house. I am. And like, what, like, like who wants to pay me to write before I
Yeah.
write it?
Well,
Like
I'll
that
put the
sounds
link to the book or all your books in the show notes
yeah.
too. And if any publishers or editors are listening, pick it up and give her a call.
Well, if you like it, if you
Of
like it,
course, if you like.
but I will also say that I'm completely uncensored because I'm self-published. Although under the current administration, I'm heavily censored. So
Mm,
I don't want to say that I'm totally uncensored and speaking my mind entirely. Like I have to really watch what I say. Um,
that's the sad
and
reality for everybody right now. And
yeah,
that's one of the scariest things about what's going on is that the artists aren't feeling safe to just
no, we're not.
no, I
We're
know.
not. We have to be clever. We have
Yes.
to be very clever,
Yes.
and and uh, and that's life. It's not
Right.
fair, and I'm not free, and it makes me question, like, oh, like, United States is my chosen home. I love America, I really do, but like, I'm a tax-paying permanent resident. I don't have the same rights as an American citizen, and so I wonder, I'm like, am I the most of service here or elsewhere? And I don't know yet, right? Like I don't know, um, and noticing when like the lack of safety I feel with the censorship of my voice, and I'm self-censoring, right? Like I'm
Right.
afraid.
I think we all are to a degree
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
yeah, and I just sitting with that, and I think it's important to just acknowledge that I'm afraid.
Hmm.
And even though, because I have a reputation of being like fearless and uncensored and all of that, but I'm just like you. You know,
Right.
I also like am looking at the uncertainty of things and the uncertainty and the precarity of my own current situation, like
Right.
moving to this new place and starting over in a really uncertain time. And I don't know how it's going to work out for me. And I think there's power and beauty and being honest about that, you
Yeah,
know, not having all of the
absolutely.
answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's a solidarity in that, right? Like to admit that we're also afraid to some degree helps other
Yeah.
people who are even more afraid feel less isolated, right? It's not just you, it's even us.
Hmm.
And together, we're going to get through it. We are. I feel
Yeah.
really lucky to be in California, like to be anywhere in this
Hmm.
country right now. I feel like we're in the
Hmm.
right spot because, we
Well, you
have
know,
more.
we're all in the right spot. Like
Yeah,
the agonizing over where we should be is not helping us. Like what's really important, I really believe, is just being present in the present moment and getting outside of our boxes and participating in the family of life.
I love that.
You know, that's what I realize is just so important for me to do is like I need to get out of my box and into the family of life. Like I need to participate. I need to talk to the people
Yeah.
who, you know, my dog introduces me to everyone, you know. So like just talk to people because
Dogs are
that's
great like that.
like I had a panic attack on the subway when I was back in New York City, which I've never had a panic attack before, but I was like, oh, I'm great. This is where we're at. And
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to get off the train. I wanted to get off the
Mm.
train, but I couldn't because I had somewhere to go. And I just tapped a man on the shoulder and I said, excuse me, I'm feeling really anxious. Will you talk to me? And
Aw,
he took off his glasses and he smiled and he said, of course. And we talked for an hour and he was
wow.
wonderful. He was a fellow artist and he had this cool art and like we really had a great conversation and I just sort of forgot that I was really anxious for an hour.
Mm,
And we're all anxious and we all need to tap somebody on the shoulder and be honest about that because we all want to help. Because if
yes,
somebody said that to me, like, hey, I'm feeling really anxious, will you talk to me? It was such a simple ask. And he
yes.
was so happy to oblige and we made a connection and now we're friends. You know,
Hmm.
like you just never know, but like but like, you know, when no one asks for directions anymore because we're looking at our phones, like
Right.
when our phones crap out, which will happen, we're
Yeah,
going to have to know how to ask for directions. So just start
right.
practicing now, you know, like reaching out to the people in your immediate surroundings can just really have these beautiful healing impacts. And I'm trying to find a way to support myself in like the 3D. You know, I really want to be able
Yeah.
to be of service in person.
Yeah. This
And
is why I'm doing what I'm
yeah,
doing as well with, I have the Ladies of Leisure with my friend Deanna and podcast folks. You have heard about it before, but we throw these events and parties in the community. We just
when's the
had one
next
at
one?
we just had one at Halloween, and we should be having. I think we're planning one around the new year, probably the beginning of January. Yes, I'll invite
Okay.
you. We have
I would love to
performers.
come.
It's an in-person live event just to
Yeah.
build community and just to get
Yeah.
people talking to each other and in front of one another live. And then the workshops I do too. I was just in Santa Fe this past weekend doing a Gen X pole arts workshop with women who never touched a pole, never walked into a
Yeah.
studio. There was a police officer, there was a dentist, there were just these women who were always curious. Three of them had just gone through a divorce and they were just trying to rediscover who they were. And that's what I love. They came in strangers, they left as, I wouldn't say friends, but acquaintances who spent 3 hours going through this process together. They felt from
Yeah.
awkward to like comfortable and happy. And
Yes.
I just want more of that in the world. Because, yeah,
Yes. We all
that's,
need more of that.
yes, we do.
We need to spend more time together. It's really that simple.
Yes,
It's
I
just
love it.
getting together.
I'm looking at the time and I told you this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I could listen to you and talk to you for so much longer, but I think we've got to wrap it up. I would love to have you come back in a few months when you've like made some of these
Yes.
choices and hear
I will
about
have news.
yeah, you'll have
Yes,
news
I will
to
have
share.
news. Yeah, I'm my whole life is a giant question mark right now, and it's thank you for having me on in this time because it's a really precarious time for me, and I don't know where I'm going, and like solidarity to anybody else who doesn't know where they're going. It's okay. We're going to figure it out and we're going to look cute doing it.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I'm figuring it
Yeah.
out as I'm going along with, I'm throwing myself wholeheartedly into Gen X pole arts and building it into something really big.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the timeline looks like. It's happening. It's unfolding as it does. I can only control so
Yeah.
much and just got to be okay with it and keep looking
Great.
cute. We
Yes.
got to
Keep
look
looking
cute.
cute.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking cute is medicine.
It's true. I love
It
doing what
is.
I do because I also love to dress up. I was a theater kid, I love that. I want to
You
be,
are a theater
I
kid.
am still, I'm that
It
geek.
never goes away.
No. And this is why I love it. I love
Yeah.
being able to embody that in this point of my life. So thank you for
Good.
being here. I was a
Thanks
fan
for
before
having
and I'm
me.
even more deeply a fan now and hopefully a friend as well. So I look
Yes.
forward to seeing you again soon in real life. Like I
Yes.
want to have some energetic exchange in person.
Mhm.
But I'll
Mhm.
put all your info in the show notes so everybody listening and watching, you can connect with Jacq. You could take Jack's class. You could go see her perform if you're in LA,
Yeah.
and all of her very different characters and guises. Read the books, all the cool stuff. Buy the art. Wait till you see her
Yeah.
art. If you don't follow her on Instagram now, yeah, I love when you post your little watercolor sketches, and it
Thank you.
always is relevant to me. Always. You do like lots of different stuff, but I'm always like, oh, that speaks to me.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're ever questioning your relevance, at least there's one. I'm sure that it's not just me, but I'm
Yeah.
representative of, lots of other people out there. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yay, of course. Okay, everybody, till next time. See ya. Bye. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fit, Fierce, and Fearless, powered by Gen X Pole Arts. I hope you feel inspired by the incredible stories of strength and resilience that we shared today. Remember, it's never too late to embrace your potential and unleash your passion. If you enjoyed this episode, please, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave me a review. Your support really helps me to continue to uplift and empower women over 40 in our pole dance community and beyond. Don't forget to connect with me on social media for more inspiration and updates. I'd love to hear your stories and share in your journey. So until next time, keep dancing, keep shining, and remember that your strength knows no age.